here's your host, Alex Garrett.
Well, if you haven't heard already, it's opening day for the Yankees, and I want to thank again Lou Terminello and Jake Kosak for some incredible content on the Alex Garrett Podcast Network. And, of course, you can find the hype video for today's opening day on my Twitter and Instagram, AlexGNYC1. Did you know on our Twitter page we've gained over 1,000 followers? So that was on the heels of gaining 40,000 downloads in 10 years on this podcast. So the point here is it's growing. This content and this podcast is growing. And I want to thank you for that. I want to thank the great guests we have. I want to thank Lou for contributing, continually, weekly. I want to thank Jake for his drop-in this week. I know we'll have him on again with the Bronx Zoo. And everybody, Kenny Albert, Dave Popkin, all those along the way, sports and non-sports, that have continued to grow this show. So thank you to them. And then I want to tell you this. A few people say, well, why isn't the show heard on other channels of your podcast? If it's on the One Leg Up feature, then why isn't it, by the way, I'm on the LIRR doing this, Garrett on the Go, right? Why isn't it on the Alex Adapting feature or the Alex Sports feature, One Leg Up on Sports or One Leg Up on Adapting? And that is a mighty fine question. So from now on, I'm going to treat this podcast like a radio dial. If you don't hear it on this channel, go up the dial or down the dial on Spotify, however you want to do it, to One Leg Up on Adapting or One Leg Up on Sports. You'll find it there also. And basically, it's also just growing it all together. I know maybe if you look at certain feeds, it looks like I'm double posting it, and I hate looking like that. But at the same time, some people may not be able to find a show. Even Mr. Acquittal has his own channel, but I like to also double post it here on the One Leg Up feature as well. So if you do want to know more about the adapting side, go to the Adapting with Alex Garrett One Leg Up feature, the One Leg Up on Sports with Alex Garrett feature. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and this is the main vein I'm talking on right now. So continue to follow this one, as I'll make sure every podcast we do, no matter what the feature is, gets podcasted here as well. Now, one thing I've not had the chance to do is talk about the incredible time we had at St. John the Divine, honoring my dad on Easter Sunday, honoring the fact that he, Christ, is risen. And as I mentioned Easter Sunday morning, I felt that Dad's spirit will be everlasting. That is the point of Easter Sunday, that life is everlasting. And for my dad, Paul Winter took time to see us, and that was so special. And my mom got this interaction with Paul Winter, the music director and the just incredible musician he is, filling the halls of St. John the Divine every year. Now, keep in mind, this was from last year to start out, when Paul actually wished my dad a happy Easter. Even though he couldn't make it, Paul made sure to make my dad's presence included while he was at SUNY Downstate Hospital.
Hey, John, it's Paul here. We miss seeing you, so we want you to be back here next year for our annual reunion photo. And I wish you well, and I hope to see you soon. All the best, brother. Big hugs and happy Easter.
Thank you so much. That'll make his day. And so this Easter, we unfortunately had to break the news to Paul that, my dad had passed. But it is true that when I played Paul's message to him last year, he lit up. And I told Paul that this past Sunday. Take a listen to that. Because I got that video, I got that audio, and it was like, lit up when I played it. Oh. So it was emotional. It was incredible to keep the faith going that my dad had instilled in me, and my mom did too. St. John the Divine is a place where my mom and dad prayed for the 77 days I was in the NICU, right across the street at St. Luke's Hospital. So for them to instill that in me at a very early age, and the belief and the faith in me, and here we are 32 plus years later, And the faith continues even while my dad watches from upstairs. Then, later, and it was great to have Gabby with us up there as well, including her in the first Easter with her as a fiancée up at St. John the Divine. That was special. But, now, I come back, and all of a sudden I realize there's an article I'm yet to read that was left behind for me to read. And it was from Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, Vivek wrote this last year, and I'm going to post it in my description below. But it's about faith in the U.S. Are we losing it in ourselves? And he talked about ways we could build it up. And I thought, man, on a day we just finished a very faith-based, faithful day of Easter, to find this article proves that we still have a long way to go instilling faith in our country again. We really do. And I think, to me, the way we do that, and I'll tell you what he says, but the way we do that is not so much at the polls. Yes, November's going to be huge. Yes, it's a presidential election. But we've got to instill faith in our country by instilling faith in ourselves, by being better towards each other in communities and neighborhoods and protecting one another. So when I see homeowners fighting against squatters, and when I see other homeowners rallying around those who are trying to defend their homes, that gives me hope that there are people that don't want to take this nonsense anymore. So I believe that, yes, there is a huge swath of faith that still exists. Just go to St. John the Divine on Easter. But the faith in ourselves, the faith in our country, can use work. You know, Vivek Ramaswamy in his article said that the military has seen a 25% drop in enrollment. And I can correlate that to, well, is there also faith in our... Do the cops have enough faith in those in power to make the right decisions for them? Because if they don't, more will return in their badges. That's just the reality we're dealing with. That's just the reality we're dealing with. So if those who in America don't want to go into service because they have no faith that their government's doing right by them, imagine on a local level when you don't have a police department that has faith in what those who are supposed to be supporting them are not. I mean, a guy can get on the street with 21 priors, kill officer, now detective, posthumously Diller, and Hochul just shows up expecting to be welcomed there. It's no wonder the family asked her to leave, wouldn't you say? It's no wonder that the rate of resignation in the force is increasing, because there's no faith in those who are in charge right now. And so I look at the 25% drop that Ramaswamy talked about, and I correlate that to, well, on a very local level, we're seeing that here. And we'll continue to see that here if we don't watch it, if the leaders of our state especially don't watch it. Simply put, the correlation of losing faith in America is very much so correlating to losing faith in our own cities, even justice system. That bail reform is so easy. I've called it bail deform. So restoring faith in our city and state is restoring faith and returning to a system that doesn't let a 21 prior arrest criminal back out on the streets with ease. Wouldn't you agree? And by the way, as I'm recording this on the train, a 4.8 earthquake hit New York City in the tri-state area, originating from Lebanon, New Jersey. Aftershocks and tremors felt across the tri-state area. Buildings shaken in New York City, and then from Philly upwards, really. So I hope you're doing okay as you're listening to this podcast. Hope the rest of your day's been a little more grounded, if you will. Luckily, I was on the train. I did not feel anything as I was been on this train with you, talking to you on the Alex Garrett Podcast Network. But yeah, I encourage you to read the Vivek Ramaswamy piece about the USA needing to gain faith in itself. It is from last year, but so worth it. And I hope after Easter we can restore faith in our own country, and the city can restore faith in its cops, and the cops' faith can be restored as well. That's all I got to say now on the Alex Garrett Podcast Network. A bit later today, Joe Murphy on Lyft driving and how he's encountered so many different people over the years. This earthquake, by the way, ranging from Boston to Philadelphia. So be safe out there. It has been quite a day. You know, it's another thing we're going to have to get through and survive and process. And I just pray that those in those buildings are okay. My fiancée Gabby told me her chair was moving and it wasn't even on. That's how powerful the earthquake was. But that's it for my LIRR edition of the Alex Garrett Podcast Network. Garrett on the go. We'll talk to you soon on One Leg Up.